telecom deregulation globally. It's happening in the US, it's happening in Europe, and it's also happening in Asia.
Right now, everyone assumes that the digital revolution is being driven by the microprocessor and the communications laser, and that's about to change.
As those markets have been deregulated, the number of firms that are providing telecommunications services is multiplied greatly. And increasing competition means more services for customers, and it means more purchases by those service providers from the equipment companies that I deal with.
Those companies that can identify the early adopter and link it to their product specific will have the best future of any of the other companies in the marketplace.
The telecoms market has become a market where absolutely everything is up for grabs. And underlying that is a key technology trend. And put very simply, that is that digital technology is the solvent leaching the glue out of this industry. There is no part of this industry that is not going to undergo fundamental, surprising change in the next several years.
We've seen tremendous consolidation in the whole communications industry. And so what that means is that you'll see the larger players survive. So there's no question in my mind that Ericsson and Nokia will be there. Nortel will probably be there. But then once you get down a tier below that, it's not clear to me whether even Alcatel will be there.
The opportunities are going to be within the internet as a delivery channel for services and products from the bank's perspective. And right now we're already encountering some of the threats, or the technology is not available currently for us to be able to do what we want to do, for us to offer the services we want to offer.
I think the most exciting developments in service provision are creating systems that are available 7/24 so that consumers can have access to information wherever they might be for a fixed price.
There will be winners and losers, but the losers will probably be losers because of their own missteps and not because somebody else took their business away from them.
I would foresee that companies which will have the latest technology and access to cheap capital to invest in this infrastructure to be the new threats to the market.
So it goes beyond just understanding demographics. You have to understand the mindset of consumers to really be able to bring them to your product.
You're going to see the operators go ahead and put in the very newest equipment. You're not going to see them lay copper to provide infrastructure for their telecommunications services. You're going to see them go right to fiber, and I think you're going to see a lot more wireless technology.
This is a market where we will shift away from switches towards routers and servers, away from telecoms being people talking to people towards machines talking to other machines on people's behalf. We're also going to see an explosion in demand for bandwidth. All of our assumptions about bandwidth demand are low by at least a factor of 10.
This particular early adopter group is not looking for control over other people, they're looking for control over themselves. And anything that can give them control, such as greater mobility, is certainly going to be much more appealing to them as a product.
This gives us some substantial challenges for global companies who really only want to produce a product once, but yet have to customize it for the different markets and make sure they can operate in a suitable local manner in those markets.
The incentives for employees at the high technology companies in the U.S. are very strong. They're by way of stock options. It's what makes Silicon Valley tick. It's what makes Route 128 in Boston tick, and all of the other technology enclaves around the United States.
People do want to do more things with their machines, and it's our job as technology providers to find ways of achieving that in a way that they feel is achieving their business or personal goals, rather than them bending to fit in with what we can provide.
This is an industry that's very much at risk of discovering that its real competitors don't come from telecoms at all, but come from the computer industry or the router networking industry, to eat the lunch of telecoms companies who don't still quite understand what has hit their business.
If one looks back a few years ago, IBM and the mainframe was dominant. They got complacent with that, built the PC, didn't know what to do with it, and now the PC is everywhere. Right now we're going through a change with respect to the internet, and Microsoft are almost caught out by the internet. They've now recovered, but it won't be long before another technology comes along and threatens the dominant position of Microsoft and Intel.
Well, we're getting more and more calls from telecommunications companies because they're understanding that the market is becoming saturated with a number of products. A lot of products are supposedly converging, but we see many products colliding. And so therefore, they understand, I believe, that they are going to have to do business differently in the future in order to remain in business.